Hello again, it's Noob, and here we have, and I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong, I'm sure, but a Bariach LocXis, LOCXIS, and this is very much like a multi-lock interactive, albeit, I think, harder to pick, and has two interactive elements on a 5-pin key. This is all pin-in-pin, you can probably tell that by the big chunky pin chambers, and if you are keen-eyed, you'd see that there's definitely some inner dimples on this key with some outer circles. So the bigger outer circles are where the outer pin sits, and then these little dimples are where the inner pins would interact. Now, the key blade itself is nice and flat, but when you insert this into the lock like this, the action of doing so pushes the interactive elements down so that they actually then come up on the other side. So it would actually be like this. These would be pushed down and then they would come up on this side and they would no longer be flush. So what would happen is, as these interactive elements get pushed up by the inside of the plug, these little bits push the pins in further, and you see that that little nubbin there, that raised bit, would push the inner pin further down into the outer pin as well. So yeah, it has these sort of floating interactive elements which are reversible. So there aren't 4 of them, it's just 2, but obviously you flip it over for either side. Very, very cool lock. So yeah, I'll take the circlip off, we'll stick this in a vise and we'll have a go at picking it. Yeah, let's have a go. So we are in the vise and I have the key and I also have the circlip from the back of the lock, which means that I need a little mark on the key to show me how far to put the key in so the bitting lines up and the lock will open, because without the circlip you can push it in too far and basically the bitting won't align and the lock won't open. It's just this, like not putting it in far enough. The bitting in this is quite interesting. I've shown you the interactive elements before, but you can see quite how far they push down, so that you need to set the pins much lower than the key blade normally would. So pin 1, pin 2, high 3, very low cut 4, and a medium cut 5. So yeah, let's get picking really. Just need my turning tool. And I'm going to start out with a flat flag, my favourite little flat flag. Pin 3's binding. 2 now. And 1. I don't think I set 3 properly, so just going back to 3. There we go, got that. 2 now. That felt good. 3. Much better. Sorry, that was 1, sorry. Yeah, I can feel pin 5 at the back there. Back to pin 2. No, it's 1. That felt nice. Not happy with the way that pin 5 was trying to be set at all. So back through these first pins and let's see if I can get 5 to bind, which it is now. Much nicer, and feels like we're resting on maybe even an inner pin at this moment. I don't know, it moved slightly. To test that, I'm going to use a smaller flag and try to get onto the inner pins of these pins. I don't think we're sort of ready for that yet. Doesn't feel they were quite there. So I'm going to go in from this side and just tap the tops of the pins like from the center. I don't know what I hit. I think it was the inner pin of pin 4. but we'll see now whether I can hit any of the inner pins at the bottom now. So the bottoms of the first few pins. It's actually quite hard to get onto these sort of inner pins. That's one. So what I'm trying to do is trying to get the pick to try to interact with some of the inner pins, and it's proving a little bit more difficult than it should do. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I still think I need to hit some of these inner pins. So that's inner pin 1. I'm getting stuck now. Ah, I got 2. That's much nicer. Okay, so that's a case of going back through, maybe just tapping the tops of the pins in turn. To just try and see whether we can move this on a bit further. Try this side again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's try again with the center pins, which I've got one there. It's tricky, this one, I'm not going to lie. Pin 1, 2, 3, just move past 4, 5. So I don't know what is holding us up, so I'm just going to move along the lock, just along the center really. And what I'm trying to do is anything which hasn't been picked enough, just try to tap the tops of it. Got to click somewhere there. So this lock feels like it's not opening up any further, but I don't trust that's the case. I really don't. I think there's something else going on in there. See, hear that little click? There was something going on there. That was pin 2 again. Go down this side. It really is a case of just trying to find what you haven't managed to pick yet. lots of little pins and things which can stick up and just really not go your way. Ah, right. I tapped pin 2 again, and now into this bit of a false set. Let's try pin 1. And something's holding us back, but I don't know whether it's because it's caught or something else is going on. So I'm just going to go through and tap. So something, again, is just holding us back from opening. Ah, and it's pin 5 at the back, and we are open. Look at that. Whew, that was quite an epic pick, that one. I don't know why this feels so much harder to pick than a multi-lock interactive or anything similar. It just feels harder. I don't know in particular why. I picked loads of multi-lock classics, integrators, interactives. This one just seems to be a lot more sort of sticky. In fact, putting a shim down it, which should be quite easy. Let me try and find a shim. Now it's open, right? Should be so easy, but even though it is completely open and to shear, I'm trying to put this shim in. I can't. It really is hard to put that shim in. Very difficult indeed. But I will put a shim in because it is a real pain to gut otherwise. So let me just try and I'll lock this back up. You can see that it's fully open, can't you? But lock it back up, put the key in so that it can open. Then I can put the shim in, but the way I get it in is sort of wiggling it by moving the core out and then back in and then out again. And I can, by moving it back and forth like this, I can actually get the shim to work its way forwards. And I don't know what's going on here, but it's a real pain to do. And but I really want that shim to work its way across the lock. There we go. It's very notchy. Ah, got it. Right. Now I've got the shim in place. I've got my follower, and gutting this shouldn't actually take too long. Oh. Ah, it's because the key moved in too far. So let's move that back and put that little center pin, which you can see there, back in. Okay, so pin 1, pin 2, well, pins 2, pins 3, pins 4, and pins 5. All right, so already we've got some fun things going on here. Where's my tweezers? So we have a very nice pin-in-pin torpedo pin, serrated key pins. So they're all serrated key pins. All serrated pin-in-pin key pins. Then I can let's go from the front to the back. Take the shim out. See what we've got here. So this is the interactive pin number 1. And a nice big fat spring. Oh, number 2. This is the interactive pin. And another spring. Just grab that out. Then we've got another standard. So no spools just yet. Ah, here we go. That's what we're looking for. I'll put that down. Yeah, that's the right way up, like that. So this is a spool with a little T-pin in a pin. And then the one at the back is standard. So it's all standard apart from a couple of, well, apart from all the key pins and that one driver pin, which is a zero, almost zero lift, but not quite, which will catch you out. There we go, right. Bring that up to the camera. And here we go, all these lovely pin-in-pin pins. So you can see how these driver pins have a pin-in-pin, which is sprung. Can you see that? And that means when you're picking, you have to pick the outer pins followed by the inner pins. Then all the key pins have these little inner pins, and they are stepped so that when they go in like this, they don't fall out of the bottom. So yeah, you pick this pin first, then you might have to pick this pin to pick the pin above it, really. So yeah, very cool. Then all these are serrated key pins, apart from this, which is a mushroom pin with mushroom spool or torpedo spool with a very sharp lip on there, which would definitely be a horrible overset trap. And then the other side, we have a mushroom pin with a spooled inner pin, so that acts a bit like a spooled T-pin in a way. Very, very cool. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that video. I certainly enjoyed picking this slightly tricky lock. It's, like I said, so much more difficult than you'd think, considering that it's very similar to, let's say, like a multi-lock interactive, which I think are easier, but nevertheless, really good fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed, now's a great time to subscribe to watch more content like this. If you have any comments, leave them below. I do read them all and reply to as many as I can. And of course, I will see you all next time. Happy picking, stay safe.